Hello, I'm Ranger Gary and welcome to Fort Moultrie, a site rich in military history and home to one of the most significant collections of 19th century artillery in the United States. Let's head inside and take a look at some of our artillery. Our first stop is going to be our set of Rodman guns that you see behind me. They were developed in the 1850s by Thomas Rodman, an Army Ordnance officer, and they were produced in large numbers during the Civil War. The barrel alone that you see weighs 50,000 pounds, and it could fire a cannonball, a round cannonball, that will go about 4 miles. These guns were used extensively for coastal defense, primarily by the U.S. Army. In fact, they were so well constructed and well designed, they lasted in our coastal forts all the way to the 1890s. By then they were thoroughly outmoded, but that's a testament to the well construction and durability of our smoothbore Rodmans. Along this section of the fort, we'll find two 32-pound cannons. These guns also had very long lifespans. There were 14 of them here when the Civil War began in 1861. This cannon could fire a 32-pound cannonball a little over a mile, and a good gun crew could fire one shot every 2 minutes. We're here at Cannon Row at Fort Moultrie, where some of our more unusual artillery pieces are displayed. We have two models of what's called Parrott rifles here. And these guns were not named for the bird, but for Robert Parker Parrott, who is the Army Ordnance officer that developed them. The big innovation with these guns is that they are rifled. You look down the barrel, there are spiral bands or grooves going all the way down the inside. And these new guns will fire bullet-shaped projectiles rather than the old-fashioned round cannonballs. Now, the rifled bore and the bullet-shaped projectile will enable you to fire much more accurately and get a greater distance. So with one of these guns, you could hit an enemy position, say 5 miles away. For coast artillery, they were produced in 3 different configurations. The smallest was a 100-pound model. Here we have a 200-pound model, and the biggest is a 300-pound model. And both of these were cast at the West Point Foundry at Cold Spring, New York in 1864. We're at our 13-inch mortar, and we're getting the designation by simply measuring the diameter of the bore here. Now, this is a weapon that you're going to use in indirect fire. Say there's a ship 2 miles offshore. This mortar here on shore could fire like a 200-pound exploding round projectile in a big arcing motion up and down, and hopefully to hit the ship. So this particular model was cast at the Fort Pitt Foundry in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1862. Most people know Fort Moultrie is a Civil War fort, but actually the military history here goes back to 1776. On this site, the original palmetto log fort, under the command of Colonel William Moultrie, the brave garrison fought off an attack by 9 British warships. It was a day-long battle, and at the end of the day, the British warships were driven off, heavily damaged. You know, this was one of the first victories in the American Revolution for the Patriot side, and it's celebrated locally within South Carolina as Carolina Day. This gun is a replica, and it's typical of the guns that were in the original fort. It's a 18-pounder, smoothbore, fires a round paw, about a mile. Thank you so much for coming on our artillery tour today, and hope that you could visit in person along with our other Charleston area national parks.
Fort Moultrie is home to one of the most remarkable artillery collections in the United States, showcasing the evolution of American coastal defense over more than 2 centuries. From Revolutionary War era cannons to Civil War artillery and beyond, these pieces tell the story of battles fought, freedom secured, and lives changed. But preserving these irreplaceable pieces of history is a constant challenge. Time and the elements take their toll, threatening to silence these enduring symbols of our past. At Friends of Charleston National Parks, we are committed to safeguarding this unparalleled collection for generations to come. Your support makes this possible. Join us in the Cannon Conservation and Preservation Program. Help protect these vital links to our heritage. Visit saveourcannon.org today and make your contribution. Together, we can keep history alive.